The best in the world versus Mr. Architect Burn It Down. Oh, for 2 years already. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the S1E4 episode. And today I'm going to cover the ongoing feud between Mr. CM Punk and Seth fucking Rollins, going for 2 years already. Now, as somebody who has been a long-standing fan of CM Punk for the past 16 years, I have to say that this feud, I hope it ends at the late of 2025, some event, because it's going in the same direction, and the question mark is going to remain if CM Punk is indeed going to win the championship, or if some other shenanigans are going to reappear and somebody is going to cost him again the title, if somebody's going to interfere and prevent Punk from winning and reigniting another feud, blah, 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 blah. Or my 2 cents theory, CM Punk turns heel and joins with Paul Heyman and hence starts a new heel faction. I'm probably 99% wrong, but I'm looking forward to my 1%. So, why it should end? So, because I consider that when you compare the feud from the previous year of CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, it was very authentic and it felt so gritty. It felt so real, even though I think, according to the sources in private life, which is not kind of doesn't matter, but still a small bracket disclaimer, Punk and McIntyre kind of don't like each other that much, so they are keeping the professional, which it should be. Same with Seth Rollins, so he also doesn't like Punk and vice versa. So, but they put professionality in front of personal feelings, as Triple H said to CM Punk in 2011. And I consider that this feud has to end because it has some fractions of memories it resembles of the feud between Triple H and Shawn Michaels from mid 2002 to mid 2004, where it was ended in Bad Blood in Hell in a Cell. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, probably mistaken, sorry, probably mistaken, they should end the same way they did with HBK and HHH in Hell in a Cell, because it has elements, and I think if CM Punk wins and again loses, then he should challenge him for Hell in a Cell. I mean, that's just the way I'm thinking. So, this feud has been going on ever since CM Punk returned from AEW and that ongoing story. We're not going to go into that. You already know the details, who is watching. When he returned at Survivor Series in 2023, the kid in me jumped up and down, up and down, up and down. And it was a real joy to watch him again in the same company he left, because it was a very hostile atmosphere. For those who don't know, you can just go back and watch his time in WWE from 2006 to 2014, when he became the main player, the franchise of the WWE, the voice of the voiceless. But now this second part, where Punk is now feuding with Seth Rollins, and I understand the perception of it, but what Seth Rollins is bringing to the table of this feud is him keep saying over and over, I hate you, you don't belong here, you're a cancer to the locker room. I mean, he didn't say it like literally. I'm sorry, he did in the interview. He said he's cancer, go back fuck away from WWE. And I understand the feud, but it has gone stale in a couple of terms in my arguments. So if Seth Rollins keeps saying, I hate you, CM Punk, go away, then they should either have some no holds barred, last man standing, Texas death match, Four Faces of Fears. Go watch Jim Cornette's promo with Smoky Mountain Wrestling. They can have that revision of Four Faces of Fear if they hate each other so much. Because the point is, if they hate each other so much, then they should end their feud with some of the more extreme match that's going to solidify and end that ongoing feud. Because as much as Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, for me personally, set the bar and the tone for the quality and the definition of a feud, CM Punk and Seth Rollins is more like, I'm not going to say student versus professor, but a student who has become the professor in the meantime, and now he's hating that same professor when he was a student of the game, when he was under the Shield, and CM Punk was the WWE champion for 434 days. So now we have, fast forward, now we have two professors with different ideologies of how they see wrestling, but they have one common thing for themselves: passion for wrestling. Now, some are going to say CM Punk is more focused on making money, but I still think that he has that passion in him for to make these feuds, and now he is going to turn 47 in 12 days from now. But I believe that Punk and Rollins should probably, they're making in a sense that they hate each other's guts, blah blah blah, and somewhere, which I don't like, I don't recommend, along the way they're going to briefly unite and fight against Heyman, Bronson, and Braun Breaker. But I think that if they are if we look back at the principles of two dudes, if they hate each other's guts, so I don't even see the reason why they should even unite, because they don't see eye to eye and they have different ideologies. But if Triple H is going to unite them, okay, whatever. But back to the point. So Seth Rollins, who put the company on its back when CM Punk left, and he felt really tired and broken from all the schedules and the things that he has gone through in WWE after he left in 2014. I'm talking about CM Punk. And Seth Rollins also put the company on its back. He injured his knee in a live match. I think it's called live event, whatever, against Kane. He torn his ligament, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, and that was another clusterfuck. And then he was in a feud with Triple H, blah blah blah. So fast forward, Seth Rollins is now at the top of the WWE, along with Roman Reigns, the island of relevancy. And this feud has good qualities. It is interesting to a point, but listening to Seth Rollins say "go away" or "I hate you" can run its course, and according to the fans, has already run its course. So why would we continue this feud? Because it's going. Yes, we get it. They hate each other, but you should make a prime. No, I'm going to say pay-per-view. I fucking hate PLE, Prime Livium event. Pay-per-view where they fucking end that feud like Triple H did with Shawn Michaels at Bad Blood in 2004. So let's end that feud and let's move on. It's the rising topic of my videos is moving on. As I mentioned in my first and second and third, and now S1E4. Thank you very much to the channel. And I don't think they should continue this feud even in 2026, only if it's legitimate. If they plan to end it at WrestleMania next year, I forgot what's the number, 42, 43. If they plan to end it, okay, let's endure until April, early April, and let's just say goodbye to that feud, because that would be almost like 3 years, 2.5, doesn't matter. But point is, this feud has gone long enough, and they hate each other's guts, but at some point they have to bury their hatches, bury their axes. They keep interfering in each other's businesses, and at some point either has to be Hell in a Cell, Last Man Standing. Even they can make 3 stages of Hell. Let's say the first one is, let me think about it, No Holds Barred. Then the second one is Texas Deathmatch, I don't know. Third one can be Hell in a Cell, I don't know. They can combine with Last Man Standing, whatever the fuck. But point is, you have to end it because it's already going in some directions. As I mentioned just a minute ago, if they're going to end it at WrestleMania, okay, I support it. But CM Punk has to find another opponent. He has so much to work with. I would even go along to say that next year, CM Punk should feud with Roman Reigns, and where we can actually see Roman Reigns bringing his A game, and him, I'm talking now currently about Roman Reigns, him returning for the 500th times ruins his credibility in the close and distant future, because now of him returning so very often. Now people themselves have been saying, okay, dude, Roman Reigns is back for the 100th time, and that ruins the surprise in the distant future. I'm talking because now he has returned, and if he returns back again, Triple H is kind of ruining his credibility of return, because return in wrestling really has to be an impact. And if you narrow it down to a meme, if you narrow it down to, oh, he's back, yay, that's your fault. But point is, Roman Reigns and Punk should be feuding next year. And and I have to say that even though, unfortunately, Cena is retiring in 2 months, but I think when, from the standpoint of watching Cena being back and they fumbled his heel turn, it was very lukewarm. I would give it like 6.5 out of 10. And they didn't do the CM Punk Cena feud properly. It was rushed. It wasn't that much. I mean, it had some cool moments, but it's not the same one as the one in 2011. It didn't have that tension. It didn't have that panache. It didn't have that intensity. So they kind of rushed it because Cena is very busy and he's going to Hollywood forever. And as I mentioned, that feud was good, but it should have been done more. I wish, but it's not going to happen, if Cena reignites the feud with CM Punk next year, but he's retiring. I said I wish. And as for Seth Rollins and CM Punk, if they end their feud this at the end of the year or at WrestleMania 2026, okay, that's amazing. I just have to say that Punk has a lot of good opponents that he can feud with and just pass on that intention and integrity that he has. And as for Seth Rollins, I'm pretty sure he can find somebody else to hate. He can go back with Drew McIntyre, because as much as they think they're similar, I just think that Seth and Drew are two different parts of being of what represents an ideology in a wrestler, sports entertainer. But the point is, I hope this feud ends. I really like Punk and Rollins, but it has to end eventually, because if you let it go even more further, God forbid, after WrestleMania, now people are going to be severely pissed off, and even more, along with the new accommodating VIP high prices, as if we are all members of the government of the United States of America. Not my country, they are NPC people, so they don't have that money. The point is, CM Punk has been my favorite wrestler since 2009, and I became straight edge because of him in mid 2010. So, as much as I've been straight edge 15 years, and that's because I believe in that code, but to some people, that's my choice to be straight edge, but some people find it extremely and utterly boring, so they don't want to be that. And I understand people's choices, individuality, anybody can make their choice. But eventually, I'm not talking about me not being straight edge anymore. I'm going to be that until the day I go away from this planet. But some things, they have to end when they're the sweetest. That's the saying of older people in my country. And I appreciate the Seth Rollins' dedication for him fighting against Punk and what he believes in. But eventually, it has run its course and it has to end. And I have to say, I love CM Punk and what he has done for the business, but he has to also, as well as Seth Rollins, move on, and they can find another pieces of themselves in somebody else. And I'm pretty sure they have to even challenge up the guys in NXT, because it's really, for me, wrestling fans are going to crucify me in the comments. NXT is really boring for me because nobody stands out. I haven't seen anyone who can actually own up, like, I'll give an example, like Trick Williams. He has an amazing momentum, but that guy has to fuck away from NXT and go to Monday Night Raw and try to make him, I don't know, next Booker T, whatever the fuck, next Bobby Lashley, next The Rock. He has momentum, but he has to work on it. And the point is, what I mentioned in my videos about originality, people in NXT, they are interesting, but they are not still breaking the ceiling that has been put for them. But they have to break it themselves. And NXT is boring for me because, I don't know, for me, when I listen to their promos, they really don't excite me that much. Because it's usually boils down around, I'm going to destroy you when we meet on the 25th in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Jupiter Arena. We're going to go back and forth, and people already fall asleep with the remote in their hands. So that also has to be reinvigorated and has to be approached better, because NXT should be a mold for new breakout superstars. I'm not talking about Stone Cold. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, I'm not talking about rest in peace. But anyway, thank you for coming to this video. And CM Punk and Seth Rollins, it has to be a full stop. Thank you very much for coming to this channel. And I have a surprise for you on Friday, a new video. Until then, enjoy.